For me, first question you might ask is like, okay, why collaborate in research? And I think one of the great joys about doing research for me is that you get to experience something new. You get to challenge existing ideas, discover new facts, discover new theories. And so part of this is to challenge your own ideas as well. And I think the best way to start doing this is when you do that as the ideas come along. And the best way to do that is like if you just work with other people, they challenge your ideas and question if whatever you propose to do may actually be the best thing to do. Maybe they have better ideas. And so this discourse that already comes along when working together and collaborating is, I think, one of the best ways to achieve that. And it's much better to, work in a team, challenge your ideas than just sitting there on your own and like maybe getting lost in things. The second aspect is that collaborating just becomes more real in technical professions. Many different so I don't think there's any benefit really of on the top of the mission to challenging just much more efficient in delegate work. You can divide workload and really work on what we are most saying. Also heard from your opinion, but I think is one of the other great joys in the research is like you constantly learn new things. And the best way to start learning new things again is when you work with the people. So let me share a little bit my own experiences. So as I said at the beginning, my research nowadays is in Nigeria. So I have 2 projects I'm working on, but by no means I consider myself an expert on Nigeria, on Nigerian culture, the economic environment, institutions. And so my research really would not be feasible without collaborating and talking to people who are experts on all of these aspects. And so for me, really, these discussions about what makes sense about ideas is what makes my research feasible in the first place. So let me give you one more concrete example. So in one of the projects that I had, once I had the idea of estimating some proposal effects, proposal impacts of joining a church. And so we still connected, and I was a bit lucky. I got connected to Sonnenstuhl. And again, and so my current research design And so the current research design that I'm working on right now really came along from these discussions. And without these discussions, it really would not have been feasible. And so I was a bit lucky that over some connections I got connected to Professor Osoboyan. But how you should apply this to your own case is that whenever you have some connections, you should seek them out really and try to utilize your connections to get connected to people that you think are maybe interesting to work with, or you share some interest in, or you would be happy to talk about research. But if that is not the case, or if the person that you initially think may be interesting to work with is actually not interesting, what to do is like cold email people or cold call people. And let me share some thoughts on this of like what is the best way to approach people when you don't know them. So I think it's usually good to have the idea of like what you want to study, but also some idea of like how you're going to approach your question or your research. That makes it just much more concrete and credible in the first place. we all have great ideas about what would be interesting to study, but most of these what questions are not interesting with at least some idea about the how. And so when you reach out to people, it's, I think, in my experience, very important to at least have some idea about how you're going to approach the question. Usually this will change, and hopefully this will change a lot, but it lends you much more credibility when you have that in the first place. The second important aspect, I think, is that most people are very happy when they are being approached. Think about yourself. If someone would come to you with an interesting idea and said, "Hey, what do you think about this? Maybe there's a room we can explore to work on something together," you would be delighted, wouldn't you? And so I think most people think that way. Another aspect is that I think is important is that I would really encourage you to rethink whom you can collaborate with. Surely people in your department, in your academic program, your university, but also you can collaborate with other institutions, with firms, with small businesses. All these, generate some data in some sense, and in some case, and there may be mutual interest that you may be able to get some data, you may be able to do something for them. And so I really think it's important to rethink and expand who you think you can collaborate with. One example from my case again, I am in discussion with a Nigerian online job market platform where employers can advertise their jobs to hire new people to do some research. And so I'm not working on this alone. I have two collaborators, and we were discussing for a while, how we can best pitch our idea to them, what may be in for them, how we can frame it. And in the end, we had a meeting, and this platform, this organization was super interested to collaborate. They were already doing some research. They were interested in exploring new ideas. And while surely it doesn't have to be that way, maybe some organizations or firms would need some more persuasion. Usually, it's always worth to reach out and give it a shot. And so these are some thoughts and ideas about collaboration, whom you can collaborate with, how to do it. And thank you all for your time. And again, thanks for hosting me this evening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan.